This conference will now be recorded.
So basically Informatica, as I told you, it is used to extract the data from multiple source systems into single target system. Okay, so whenever we wanted to extract the data from multiple source systems, uh, there should be either flat files as a source or Salesforce as one of the source system. Salesforce is one of the source system, CSV files, okay, SAP systems, okay, it may be any system like Informatica able to connect any system. It may be Oracle system also, okay, it may connect from different source systems, and it will load only, I mean it will load in also in multiple target systems. I mean maybe it is a single target system but in a multiple formats, I can say. So even the targets may be flat files and target may be Oracle systems. Okay, so this will be a source and this will be a target. Okay, so as of now we will see how to extract the data from source Oracle system and how to load the data into target system. That means Oracle to Oracle, Oracle to Oracle. We will see for a few days. Later on we will be discussing how to extract the data from flat files and load into Oracle, and how to extract the data from Oracle and load into flat files. Like these are the examples I can say. Oracle to flat files and flat files to Oracle and flat files to flat files. We can see all these things in the near future sessions. For now, we'll see how to extract the data from Oracle, how to load the data in the Oracle. For that, I need to have one source table. Okay, in this case, I'll be taking an example as EMP table. Okay, and I will be loading the data in the target table, and I will name the target table as EMP underscore TGT or target, or yeah, EMP underscore target underscore 1. Okay, EMP underscore target. Let's see. Okay, so I will be extracting the data from source EMP and I will be loading the data. In between, I'll be using Informatica to extract, transform, load, whatever it is, to target table, which is nothing but EMP underscore target. 1 second, guys. All right, now okay, let's see how. So first of all, to fetch the data from the source system, we need to have a source system at one place, right? So as this is a training sessions, what we will do is we will create our own source system. We will create our own source systems and we will create our own table, so that we will be fetching the data from this particular table and we will be loading into our own particular target table. So this we are creating the scenario that we have one particular source system and we are creating the same scenario to load the data in another target system. So we, as it's a training session, we cannot connect to real-time systems, right? Like banking system, retail system, some systems like Walmart data storage, or some banking data storage, right? So we will virtually create one table and we will treat this table as a source, and we will create one table target and we will treat this as a target. All right, how to create a target, how to create a table. So as this is the first session, I'll be showing you how to create a table and how to insert the data and use as source. Then create a target table. This will be an empty table. This will be an empty table. Okay, so that I will be loading the data from source to this empty table using Informatica in between. Okay, fine. Let's see how we will be doing this scenario. For that, we need to have one database, right? So this is an Oracle database I'm using for this particular example. I will be installing the Informatica on your PC. I'll be installing Oracle also on your PC. Okay, so that you can also do practicals once after I get a confirmation from the training institute. Okay, so create table, table name emp. Okay, and this is how we will be creating the table structure, like emp number and column name and data type, column name and data type, 9 comma 1, something like this, comma emp name. Okay, this is the syntax of creating the table varchar 2. Hope you guys have some basics of SQL. Otherwise, this is how we are going to create a table varchar. Okay, like this. So we need to give the column name here and the data type here, like this. Okay, so to save some time, I'll be we haven't already have the structure. I'll be showing you the structure, how the query will be. Okay, so this will be the structure for that. Sorry. Okay, this is how the table structure will be. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, you can also try like this if you want any help. Create table emp and insert data. All right, so perfect example. Okay, this is how we can create. See the structure: create table emp number, ename, job, manager, hire date. So this is how we can create a table. Same structure. Okay, I'm trying to create the same structure, but to save some time, this will be the query. Okay, so you don't need to do all these things. So till here, see here how many columns are there? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 columns are there. Okay, so execute, like select all these things and click on execute. Okay, and the table will get created. Okay, so see how the table will get created. So emp underscore source, I'll be giving a separate different name. Okay, execute it. Okay, so it will first connect to the database and then it will execute the statement. So I will be giving you all this software. I'll be installing this by taking the remote access, and I'll be installing all the Oracle, Informatica, everything on your PC, so that you will be doing the practicals on your own. Okay, so the query is executing here. It has been successfully completed. Now check. Now do select star from emp underscore source, and you will able to see the structure or table is already created for this. See here, when I'm doing select star from emp source, so it is executing. That means the table structure has been created, but there is no data here, right? When I wanted to treat this as a source, there should be a data or not, right? So for that purpose, I will be inserting the data. How we can insert the data? This is how we are going to insert the data. So this is the syntax. How to insert any table, how to insert data in any of the table. This is the syntax. Insert into table name underscore source, insert into table name, values. Okay, so how many columns are there? Sequentially we should give the values. Here how many columns are there? emp number, first column is emp number, so given emp number data type column. Next, employee name, right? Employee name, we should give character varchar data type. It's Blake. Okay. Then next column name is job. What this particular job? Sequentially, we need to give the values. Job. Right. Next manager name. Next, hire date. Next salary. Next commission. Next department number. Like that. Sequentially, we should give. Okay, and just execute this query, insert into emp source like this query. You will able to see that one record is successfully inserted into the table. Okay, select star from emp source. See, now it will show you one record present. Why? Because I have inserted one record like this. Are you able to see the data now? One record, employee number, e-name, job, like that it got inserted. So I am virtually creating a source with data. Why? Because we cannot connect to any of the source system directly, right? We don't have an access, as this is training. This is for training purpose. This is not a real-time project, right? So virtually we are creating one source. For that, we are manually inserting the data, and we are using this as a source. Like that, you can insert multiple records like this. Okay, these are another values, another name. Okay, another hire date, another salary, another department. Like this, you can insert how many records you wanted to insert. That many number of records you can insert. Oh, I'm sorry, this is emp underscore source. Okay, so what? So this is the second record insertion. See here, this has been successfully inserted. Now check how many records are there in this particular table. We have two records here. Why? Because I've inserted two records. These are the two records. Like that, I can insert multiple records in the table. So to save some time, I've already created the particular table with data. That is nothing but emp table. See here how many records are there in this particular table. If you execute this table, it will have 15 records altogether in this table. Okay, I've inserted manually 15 records. In the same process, you can also do it manually. Right? emp number, e-name, job, manager, hire date, salary, commission, and department number. And I'm going to use this table as a source table. Clear, guys, how to create a table and how to insert the data? Okay, this I'm treating it as a source. Now what is the source table for me? It will become emp. Okay, emp is my source table. Right? Now I wanted to create, I've created a table. How did we get the timer? So you're talking about this one. Okay, how we inserted the records, how we inserted the records. So this particular data, see, for this particular data, by default it has taken 000. When we don't give any timestamp, right, by default it will take 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds. Clear? Ready? Okay, so this actually I have manually inserted for some testing purpose. Ignore this one, but if you see, rest all records having 0 timestamp. If you won't give any timestamp, it will take a zeros as default. Right? This is my source, and now I have created a source table. I've inserted the data into the source table, and now create a target table. This should be empty. Why this should be empty? Why? Because I need to load the data from source to target. Right? Using Informatica, I need to load. Right? That's why I need to create a empty target table here, similar to source table. So what is the query to create a table similar to an existing table? Create table emp underscore target as select star from emp, where 1 is equals to 2 is the syntax. 1 is equals to 2 will avoid the data inserting into this target table. Okay, if I have any table, and if I wanted to create same structure another table without any data, then this is the syntax. With the data means still here it would be fine, but without data, only you want structure, then this is the perfect example. Okay, execute it. I'll just give underscore one by why, because the table name is already existing. So like this I'll create. Okay, and see if it has any data or empty table. Okay, if you check, select star from underscore one, right? Underscore one. Okay, see now the table has been created, but there is no data inside it. This I'll be using is as a target table. Okay guys, now you understood how to create a source table and how to create a target table. Okay, so this part of our part is completed, right? I have a source table and I have a target table, empty target table. Now using Informatica, I will be loading the data from source table to target table. Let's see how Informatica looks like. Till now, does anyone have any doubts? Please let me know if you have any doubts. Okay, so let's introduce Informatica tool. So go to start. When I install also, this is the same process that you need to do. Go to start and Informatica 10.1 or 10.2, whatever may be then, whatever may be the um, whatever may be that version, it will be visible here. And as I told you yesterday, we will be working in the client components rather than server components. So first we will go with repository manager. Okay, click on this repository manager. All right, so if you just go back to yesterday's session, what I have told you, why repository manager is used. It is used to create folders and able to give permissions, and also it is used to migrate the code, right? Migration of code we'll see later, far away from this session, but we will see how to create a folder in repository manager. Okay, so this is the repository manager. Okay, this is how it looks like even in your PC, and in which environment you wanted to create, connect to that repository. I'll be providing you the username and password. So for my PC, the username and password is mine. Okay, this is my system specific. So once you connect to the repository, right, and it will show you what all the folders present in this particular repository. But we are least bothered about those all folders. We will be creating our own folder for our training purpose. We will be creating our own folder for training purpose. How to create a folder? How to create a folder? These are all the existing folders. So go to folder option here in the menu bar. Okay, click on create. Click on create. Okay, and give any name here. Okay, any name. So I will be giving the name as batch 730. Okay, I'll be giving the name, whatever it's your wish. Okay, you can give your own name here. Okay, click on OK. Okay, folder is created here. Okay, so this is how folder has been created. Now you can see if the folder has been created under with the batch 730. Okay, here it is, batch 730. Right now, once you create this particular folder, right, it will be visible in all the client components. D means mapping designer, W means workflow manager, M means workflow monitor. Okay, click on this D. Okay, click on this D. 1 second, guys. All right. So click on this D. It will divert us to the mapping designer. Mapping designer is nothing but this is another client component. Okay, once we create a folder, we need to create mapping, right? So otherwise, this is one easiest way to navigate to designer. Else we have we can go to again Informatica version here, and here Power Center Designer. This is one of the way. Okay, click this Power Center Designer and again connect it to our repository. Connect it to our repository. Okay, capital P. I'm sorry, I'm revealing my password. All right. Okay, give credentials again. Connect. Okay, in all these client components, you will be able to see the folder names, whatever we created. See here, this is my folder name, which I have just created. So if you wanted to work in this folder name, right click and click on open. You will able to see the workspace area. Okay, this is the workspace area. Now to create a mapping, right? To create a mapping in a mapping designer, we need to have source table, target table. In between, we need to have transformations, right? We need to have a source, we need to have a target, and we need to have a transformation. To work with the source and import source, we have component called as source analyzer. Okay, to work with the targets, to import targets, we have target designer. Okay, and to work with the transformations, okay, we have transformation developer, one of the component, where these all will be present. If you open the designer, here it is. This is the source analyzer, this is the target designer, this is a transformation developer, this is a maplet designer. I will discuss about this one later. And this is a mapping designer, wherein which we will be working or creating the mappings here. Okay, so as I told you, I need to have one source and I need to have one target, right? So here in this space, as we have created the source here, right? Emp underscore, okay, whatever it is, we have created one emp table, and we told that we will be using that particular as table as source, right? So we need to bring this source into Informatica. Only table structure without any data. There won't be any data throughout Informatica tool. There won't be any data. We will be playing with metadata only, means columns and data types only. Okay, you'll get a clear picture once this demonstration is completed. Go to source analyzer. Okay, go to sources, and here click on create. If you click on create, okay, we can give any name, and we need to select which database type it is, either it is flat file, whether it is Teradata, whether it is Oracle. Okay, we need to mention here. Okay, so we need to mention here Oracle type, right? Click on create, and click on done. See here, we have some template created here. Here now, we need to create the column names. How to create a column names? So double click this table, go to columns. Okay, click on add. Here is the column name. Here is the column name. Give the column name emp number. What is the data type? Number data type. Okay, like this. Click add and add another column. What is the another column name? Emp name, right? Varchar, like this. Like this, all we need to add the columns manually. Okay, so to save some time, I have already added or created the structure. Click on apply. Once after completion of adding all the columns, click on apply and click on OK. It will be visible like this. This is the source and it will be visible under sources like this. Okay, but to save some time, I already created one table and I will be using that table as a source. So that is in another schema, maybe in this schema. I'll just drag and reuse this particular table. Okay, don't worry about all these things. You need to create the table in the same way how I've created now. Guys, anyone having any doubts, please pause me in between and you can ask me. Right, so this source we have emp, right? So I will be copying this source or using this source to save some time. Okay, do you want to copy? Yes. Okay, don't worry, all these things we'll see in detail in the coming sessions, but just a treat that I have created the emp table with all these particular columns. All right, now this is my source. Now I need a target or not. Okay, so target will be designing in the target designer. Click this target designer, and as the source is already present and it is same structure like target, right? So I can use this as a target. How I can use this? Just drag and drop into the target designer. It will create one table and this will be reflected in here in the targets. Okay, so double click this table. So now what is the target table name now? Emp. What is the source? Emp. Okay, it's a bit confusing if you have same name, right? So I will be changing this table name as target. So double click this table name. Here you have an option called rename. Okay, give the name as underscore target underscore one. I have created underscore target and underscore one. Now this is my target table. Now I have a source and I have a target. I have a source and I have a target. Now create a mapping. Ultimately, what we are going to do in Informatica in the mapping designer, it is used to create mapping, right? How to create a mapping in the mapping designer component. Mapping designer component. So where is the mapping designer? This is the mapping designer. Okay, click on this mapping designer. Okay, go to mappings, click on create. Click on create and it will ask us to give any name. So we will be giving the name like m underscore first mapping. Any name you can give, but starting with m. Right, this is the workspace now to create a mapping. So I need to map source to target to load the data from source to target, right? For that, drag the source emp into the mapping designer. Whenever you drag the source emp into the mapping designer, we will get two sources. As of now, treat these two as source only. We'll discuss about this one later sessions. Okay, whenever we drag, we'll get source with the source qualifier. but as of now treat both as a single source. We'll discuss about this one in the later sessions. And drag the target now to map. Just drag and drop. Right, this is how we need to create a mapping. Now we need to tell from this particular column in the source should load the data into this particular column in the target. For that we need to link it, right, like this. Link ename to ename, job to job, like that. That means we are explicitly telling that get the data from the job column name present in EMP table and load into job column name present in the EMP underscore target. Okay, this dragging the columns one by one may take longer time if we have more than 20, 30, 40 columns. We have one shortcut to link, that is nothing but right click, auto link by name, right? Auto link by name, just point out here and just drag and drop. It will automatically link all the columns. It will search for the names and it will link. This is all about mapping. Okay, any doubts still here? Go to repository and click on save. The mapping will save in the repository and it will tell us here in the output window that the mapping that we have created is a valid mapping. This is a valid mapping. Okay, that means there are no errors in this mapping. Then only we can move forward. This is how we can create mapping. Clear guys, still here? What we have did, we have created a folder for our training purpose. We have created a mapping, but we have not used any of the transformation here. As this is the very first mapping, we have not used any transformations in between. It's just a direct dump from source to target. Direct dump means whatever the data present in the source, it will load exactly into the target table without any transformations, as it is a very first mapping. Okay, now next client component is workflow manager. What is the use of this workflow manager? For each mapping which we have created, session and workflow should be created to trigger the job, right? Let's see how we will create a session and a workflow in the workflow manager. So how to open a workflow manager? We have a W here beside D. Click on this one. It will open automatically. Okay, it will open automatically. It's loading. Okay, so we need to connect to our folder which we are currently working on to create a session and a workflow. So this is our folder, right? Okay, so this is the task developer which is used to create a session, and we'll discuss about this workflow designer later. And this is not workflow, this is workload designer, and this is a workflow designer, right? We will be creating the workflow here. Okay, so session, every mapping should be configured with a session in task developer, right? And every session should be configured with a workflow in workflow manager. Okay, let's see the first point. Every mapping should be configured with session, right? In the task developer, this is the task developer. How to create a session? Go to tasks in the menu bar, click on create. Okay, Here give any name which should start with s underscore mapping name. Mapping name is already we created, which is nothing but first mapping. Okay, click on create. Whenever you click on create, it will ask us for which mapping you wanted to create the session. Okay, I've created a mapping called first mapping. So automatically, as we have only one mapping, by default it is selecting this mapping. But after 10 mappings, if we create after 10 mappings, it will, we need to choose, like, what is the accurate mapping we need to create a session for, right? As it is only as we have only one mapping, by default it is selecting this mapping. Select this one and click on OK. Okay, and after creating, okay, this is the session. If you open this session, we will see the source that we have in the map. Go to mapping tab. We will see the source that we have used for the mapping and the target we have used for the mapping. Got you? Okay, now what we need to do in this session, we need to tell to Informatica explicitly from where the data should, from where Informatica should extract the data from the source, where exactly this table is present in which source system, right? And also we need to tell in which target system the table is present, where I should load the data. We need to explicitly tell to Informatica. For that, we need to create connections. Okay, I have already created a connection for us. So for now, if I tell more information, it will be a little bit confusing. So I am not telling about the connections for today's session. So just go select this source and give the appropriate connection. uh, okay, the connection for this source is already created. I'll tell you how to create the source, how to create the connection also. Okay, for now I'm giving this connection. Okay, and for target also we need to tell where exactly it is present. Okay, so we have the name p underscore. Okay, this is the connection I have already created. I'll tell you how to create these connections and everything in the later sessions. Change the target load type from bulk to normal. I will tell you this one also later. Okay, so I'm telling that this source is present in this connection. That means if you click here, okay, this pencil button, it will tell us that this is present in this database. Please bring the data from that particular table which is present in this database. That information we are giving here. And target information also, we are telling that load the data which is present in this particular table, which is present in this database again. That, like that explicit information we are giving. Click on apply, click on OK. Done. Okay, this is all about session. Configure a mapping and tell where the source table is, and also tell where the target table is to fetch the data and to load the data. Right? Session is completed. Now, second step. Every session should be configured with a workflow in the workflow manager. This is a workflow designer, not workflow manager. Sorry, this is a workflow designer. Designer. Okay, go to the workflow designer. Go to workflows tab. Click on create. Right? Click on create and okay, give the name wf. It should start with wf underscore session name. Session name is already s underscore mapping name, right? So like this we need to give, right? So this integration service also I'll tell you later. More of information in one class, it's not good. So click on OK. Okay, so this is a workflow which is telling an arrow with a start button, right? We need to configure this particular session to this workflow, and also we need to give this link called as a link task. Give this link and tell that this workflow to trigger this particular session. Inside this session there is a mapping. Inside the mapping there is source and target. This is all about creation of session and a workflow. go to repository and save it. It is also tell you that this workflow is valid workflow. Right. So what we have did, we have created a folder for our training purpose. We have created a mapping, right? We have created a mapping in which we have imported a source, target, and then in the workflow manager, we have created a session for a mapping and also a workflow for the session. Why workflow? Workflows are used to trigger the job. Okay. Workflow is used to trigger the job. Trigger means to start the job and extract the data and load the data. Right? We are done with everything now. Now we need to trigger this job, trigger this workflow so that it will fetch the data and load the data. For after triggering the job, workflow monitor is used to monitor the source and the target statistics. So first I'll be opening the workflow monitor and then I will trigger so that it will be visible for us immediately when I start the job. Sometimes opening of workflow, opening of this monitor will be very slow. By the time the job will already gets completed. So before triggering the job, make this monitor open and then we will trigger the job so that it will be visible. Right? Fine. Connect. Okay. So before I trigger the job, right, I will just cross verify once again if we have any data in the target. Okay. So check if there is any data in the target by mistake. This is my target table, right? There is no data now, right? So I will trigger the job now. It seems to be slow. Okay. So workflow monitor has been connected. Now what I'll do, I will go to the workflow manager, go to workflows and start workflow. You see the option here, start workflow? Click on start workflow. When you start, it will run in the workflow monitor. We can see. Okay. See here, it should run here in the batch 730. See here, this is how it is triggered and it is running. See the statistics. Immediately within seconds, it got succeeded. That is the fastness of Informatica. That's why we have moved to Informatica from Oracle systems. And it says it is succeeded, right? And how can we know how many records got fetched and how many records got loaded? For that, right click on this session, get run properties. Click on get run properties. Here we can see the source and target statistics. Click on this arrow button. It is saying that 15 records got fetched from EMP and source EMP and 15 records got loaded in the target. Can you see the statistics here? A source 15 records, target 15 records. But previously, before triggering the job, I have checked the database. We don't have any data, right? Right. Now, after triggering the workflow, we will check, is there any data? If you see, there will be 15 records got loaded. Can you see, guys? This is how Informatica will fetch the data from source and it will load the data into the target with a single click. Clear? Does anyone have any doubts anywhere? This is very first mapping without any transformations in between. Okay, so these are all the transformations we have here. We will be learning one by one throughout our session with practicals. Okay, this is all about the session today. Guys, please speak out if you have any questions. If you don't want to speak out, can you please ping in the chat box that you don't have any questions? If you're clear, please. Guys, please respond. If you don't have any questions, please respond in the chat box. If we have any, please speak out. Yeah, ready? I received
I'm
the
good.
message. Okay, okay. Yeah, that's all about the session today, guys. Thanks for joining, and please reach out to your consultancy for the schedule of tomorrow's session. And yeah, I'll be doing the installation for you guys once I get a confirmation from consultancy, and we'll go forward from then.
Okay.
Hi, can you send this recording video?
Yeah.
Sure, sure. So I'll be doing that one. Yeah.